Oh, as I walk through this rather dark forest, I'm reminded of that scene in The Wizard of Oz as Dorothy and the Scarecrow and the Tin Man are wondering if they're going to beat upon any lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. All right, good morning. I am up here to where I'm going to hike today, up to, we're going to follow the freight train, steam engine freight train that ran in this area. We're going to follow the line right here. I'm about 2 miles past the end of the horse trails to the west, and this is a parking area. There's one other vehicle here, and I just saw that person on a trail going up there. And next week when I come back here, I will be hiking that area over there, and I'm looking forward to that. But today I'm going to be taking a really long hike. This is going to be, I'm about 2 miles, as I said, past the horse trails, and I'm going to soon join where the freight train ran, and from there will be it'll be about 2.5 miles to the end of where the freight train ran in the 1800s. So I'm hoping to make it all that way. It's a pretty big hike today, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to or not, but I'm going to give it a shot. So I got everything. Let's go. All right. Wait. I better take you along with me. All right, let's go. So this is the area that I was just talking about. I saw a gentleman walking up that way. He was wearing a jacket, and I am not wearing a jacket. It is actually pretty cold here. This is a really, really dense part of the forest, and it is not very warm, but I don't want to be dealing with a jacket later on. So anyway, here's the car. It's secured. Let's get ready to go up into this forest. I'm looking forward to this. So as you can see, I got a much bigger, heavier backpack on today because I am packing a little bit extra stuff with me because this is going to be a really long hike. So I got my tether so we won't lose our camera. Here we go. And here we're going to be crossing the creek. This is the same creek that was down running along the horse trails. These trails are all built by the same trail people that built the trails down below. So we got this creek here. You can see there's an old piece of cement down there. It's pretty dark in here, so maybe you can't see it, but I can see that piece of cement right up here, about a mile, maybe a little bit less than a mile in this direction is going to be the original reservoir for the town down below. It was not like the other two reservoirs we saw. This was a reservoir built in the 1800s to supply water to the town. All right, here we go. I don't have my selfie stick today because it was really kind of a hassle dragging it around today. You can see an actual, what looks like a skidder trail, and the trail they built now is going to do some switchbacking because we got to get up pretty high to join where the railroad tracks were at. We haven't went very far yet. We haven't started steeply up the hill yet, but you can see what looks like areas that have been possibly hydraulically mined. I'm not sure about that. I couldn't find any information on what kind of mining they did up here. There are some tunnels. When I go on that hike next week, we will see one open mine that they have fixed up so that you can walk partially into it. And I'm looking forward to that. Creek down there. Some mining evidence on the way. Looks like they've been drilling some holes in the dirt, and we have what looks like here to be a pretty big hydraulic area, perhaps. Maybe. I don't know about that. I think I see where the tracks ran, just a little ways up there. So this road down here is a well-traveled road. It's in very good shape. It'll lead us all the way to the top of the mountain where the Motorcycle Riders Association has a very large staging area up on top. It's all motorcycle riding area back there. All right, very, very dense manzanita or laurel here, and some manzanita and some pine. And here is where we join up with where the freight train ran. This was a small freight train, nowhere near as big as the trains that we looked at in a couple of past videos. Going down there, it crosses into private property, but this is the actual route that the freight train took. So it'll be a really nice road from here on out. It's still pretty dark up here. The sun hasn't hit us yet, and there's a jet going over. We've gained a lot in elevation, and we're closer to the jets going overhead. So for some reason, when they dismantled this train track in around 1914, I believe it was, they dismantled the tracks and took them down, took them away. Seems like an awful lot of work, but there's really no evidence that the train existed. But there actually is. The trail people rebuilt part of the train trestle that was up here. Looking forward to seeing that. All right, trying to keep a pretty good pace here because I'm trying to get warmed up. It's actually pretty cold, and you might be able to see behind me. Well, let's just do this. You can see how they dug through the mountain in order to have the train be on more level ground. I just heard a vehicle over there. There might be a lot of vehicle traffic on that road as morning gets, as we get more into the morning. People hauling their motorcycles up to be ridden. Okay, it took me about 10 minutes to get up here to where we are now at the dam. And oh, they have built a bridge over to the dam. That is new. I've only been on this trail one time, and I followed it to the end of the train tracks, and that bridge was not there. Anyway, here is what we got. So this is the dam right here. I knew about that building over there, and that is the dam, and then this was the spillway, and then back behind there was where the water was held, and this was built in the late 1800s. That is interesting. So I didn't know about that. That's been built sometime in the last 5 or 6 years, maybe 10 years. But I used to come up here as a young man. You can see where the sun's at now. It will eventually be down here at the road over there. You drive up here, and then there's a big parking place. This was like a gravel pit over here. And in our next hike next week, when we're over on that side, we're going to go back behind the gravel pit area and look at a hydraulic mining area. And we're going to get up on top above the pit, because there was a humongous, very deep tunnel that I went in with my little brother and my first brother-in-law in the 1980s. It had caved in, and we crawled into it, and it went back about 160 feet. There was the little railroad tracks in there, the hand car, and all the rest. And it was really exciting. And we're going to go up to where the road that would lead us up to that starts. And I'll never be able to go up there again. And besides, it's private property once you get up to the mine. But you'll see why I will never be able to make it up to where that old mine was at. Not that I would go in it, even if it was opened up, but it would be fun to go up there and see it again. I went up there in like 2010, was the last time I was up there. So it's so beautiful and peaceful here. So I used to come up here as a young man in my early 20s and bring I had a 1948 22 Winchester long rifle, target rifle. And I used to come up here and target practice, and everybody did. You'd park over there, and you'd shoot across the dam into the side of this hill. So I probably got 500 rounds of 22 slugs in this hill. There's a ton of them in here. And that, of course, is no longer allowed. It's absolutely forbidden to shoot firearms up here. But anyway, so this is the reservoir, and it's pretty overgrown. There might be some water down there, and I think this is going to be a really long video today, so it's going to be multiple parts, I can already tell. And we got a bench. Not that I need it right now, but I will eventually. Wow, look at that. How in the world did they bring all that concrete up here? That is crazy. And you can see, oh, okay, oh boy, my first time on this bridge. Oh my goodness, I'm sure it's safe, but it's a sort of like the San Francisco bridge, the way they got it rigged up. A suspension bridge, that's what I was saying. Anyway, it's a little scary, but I can't tell you how badly that water down there smells. And once upon a time, this was the water that fed the town. It is not safe to drink now. Alright, I gotta get off this. I'm sure it's perfectly safe. Today we're gonna go up farther we're gonna keep going. So the freight train would have ran right along here and continued on up this way. Alright, here we go. I'm so glad I come up here today. And I'm so glad I get to come up here today. That's the key. I get to do this. I get to do this. I am very blessed that I can get out and do this. I hope all of you can.